We got Q. Today, we're going to be interviewing the master, the man who leads in inventions in engineering. So I can't wait to see what Q has to tell me. Q?
Yes, you have a very white kind of voice.
Very white voice. Oh, thank you.
You got that deep bass voice. It's good. It's good. It's great.
Okay. Yeah. So what's been going on today?
Not much. Trying to get some things done. Again, I think I shared with you, I have some things going on in San Francisco. So I was just on a call with the partner of mine in San Francisco.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to get things situated, see if I can keep both feet here in Detroit versus going back and forth.
Okay. So you have to travel all the way out to the West Coast and handle some things, handle business.
Right. But I'm a part of the startup over there. They're doing robotics and AI generated
Okay.
apps. And,
Oh, maybe you can use my robotic skills. I should put it that way.
Right. Yeah, I read your bio. You're
Oh,
pretty
did you?
proficient.
Oh, okay.
You're universally talented. Also in music. I'm like, wow, this guy's all over the place.
Well, yeah, that is true. It's been a busy weekend for me as well. But you're the person of interest, though. So I don't want to mispronounce is it Q Thang Do?
Is Q Thang Do?
Thang
Do?
Do. Okay.
Yeah, but I go by
Okay.
Q, which is a lot easier.
By Q. I like Q.
Yes.
I guess I like it because I'm a Trekkie fan. So
Oh, really?
I don't know if you ever watched Star Trek.
Yeah, I actually Q for me, it was a nickname during high school, middle school, is because people couldn't pronounce the name, and I'm pretty much a gadget guy, so I'm Q from the James Bond version.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And my friends used to call me Mr. Gadget or Dr. Gadget. So
Dr. Gadget. I like that, Dr. Gadget. That's a new one.
I have lots of gadgets.
Yeah.
Toys. People say, what should I get you for your birthday or Christmas? And then most people who know me get something weird, something unusual, something strange, So I just love things of that nature. And I like creating things as well. So you're a creator yourself. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Vietnam, and then we got sponsored by a Catholic charity to go to Philly. And then from Philly, we got sponsored to go to Detroit. So I grew up in Detroit about 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my
and then you've always been tinkling with projects, right?
Yeah. So I was the kid who always had a fork, or in my case, I'm Asian, so I had a chopstick, and poke into the plugs in the walls to see how electricity works, and then trying to fix the VCRs that way too.
Yep.
And
I've done
posters and all that stuff. And my dad's just saying, I don't know, you're just too much of a tinkerer. You got to do something mechanical engineer or electrical, something tangible, right? So
yep.
That was me.
Yeah, that was me as well. I used to take television apart and VCRs and anything that was electronic. And then I tried my hands at small engine repair, and that didn't go out so well.
Right.
I put the engine back, take it apart and put it back together. And I had extra screws and nuts and washers. I said, well, where's this come from? And then the engine wouldn't start. I said, I know this is not for me. It's a little messy too. But even with the mechanicals of robots, I always stayed on the electronic and programming side. I'd go out there and PM robots. I just not cut off for that. I'll do it, but that's not my thing to be wrenching.
Yeah.
I just started the last couple of years wrenching on my own cars, just to see if I could do it,
Right.
But in your quest, did you start off studying in college computer science? I know that's the direction I went into before I got into the degree of AIs and robotics. Which direction did you go into?
Well, I wanted to be an advertising man due to the inspirational film Bewitched with Darren Stevens. So he was an advertising guy, and I thought that
Darren,
I was a guy that was sitting in the back too, doing like graffiti art. So I used to come with these ad campaigns back in the day. So I wanted to go that direction, but then my parents just like, you got to be more practical, be engineering and or something like medicine. And I was pre-engineering, but then I went back into advertising. and marketing, and I graduated in that field. Did a minor in computer science, but it wasn't something I finished. Uh, and then from graduation, I from college, I picked up my sister from Indiana and drove out west to San Francisco, California.
Hmm.
I did see a couple of startups over there.
So when you're doing these startups, do you get called upon, or you seek them out and you find them and you offer your assistance? Because you are now a part of the EIG, which I'm so excited to uh, have you a part of us. Because and now that you said you're a marketing expert, that is what we need, the kind of person we need to be able to help us out and give us some expertise in the marketing department. But in your case, what is your case on that?
Well, when I first drove out to San Francisco, I was still trying to figure out how to leverage my marketing advertising degree.
Hmm.
So then I didn't really have the technical skills to do like Illustrator or Adobe, all those other things.
Right.
They really didn't teach at the college, and it was more conceptual. So I went to a technical school uh, at college in San Francisco, and I did that for 2 years. And back in when I was trying to get hired, they didn't have the internet. It's early 2000s. So I was thumbing through the yellow pages, if
Hmm.
you can remember that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yellow and white pages.
oh yeah, I forgot. You're right. The white pages, right? So I stuck on the yellow pages, and I called every advertising agency, probably like 20 to 30, until I got an internship.
Hmm.
So I interned at one of the biggest advertising agencies back then that handled the Joe Boxer, Crystal Geyser, and Powerball account.
Okay.
And they also worked with Alex Trebek, Alex
Wow.
Trebek on what's that show, Jeopardy.
Hmm.
So I interned for them for about a year or two. And I stayed in marketing for probably another year or two, and worked on different accounts. Cliff Bar was another one, some other automotive accounts too over there. And then I got hired or got recruited to go to a startup. The startup, I became a web developer and software
Okay.
developer. And that company got bought out by Princeton Review in recent years. And then I jumped into another startup. So once you're in the startup realm, if your resume uh, is suited for a particular position that's opening on a new startup, the
Hmm.
recruiters will come to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So back again in the early 2000s, it was a wonderful time. I remember actually it's true what they say. You work 24/7 and you sleep at the office.
Yeah.
So we had a crew of about 15 people. I was in e-learning. So before this whole massive online learning trend that's happening now, and
Uh-huh.
since COVID, it's been trending up. I was on the ground floor trying to build these apps, doing hard coding again before AI, right? So
Yeah. Right.
I'm
Right.
glad I pivoted, and that was exciting. Then
Hmm.
I created another company with a friend of mine as a mobile and technology company in San Francisco. We have 4 stores. Um, I did vinyl toys, I did product designs in the back end, and we went to schools and we have partnerships to fix their mobile devices
Okay.
and some of their work with their IT department. Yeah,
Well, this show is about wearing different hats, and you just kind of told me some of the hats you wear. Um, what do you find most difficult when you have to change hats? You're doing marketing, and you're doing startups, and you're doing other things. Of course, taking your own personal businesses. But what do you find the most difficult when you have to change hats on the circuit? Since we're on the circuit show.
I like that. Yes, that's a great question. I think with changing hats, it's a falsehood where people say you can multitask
Hmm.
because your hand activity could be in it, but your mind and soul and heart is not in it. So there's
Hmm.
head, heart, and hand, right? So if it's not all aligned, you're gonna misstep. For me, changing hats, you only have one head,
Hmm.
so you're literally going between and transitioning physically. So that it sort of grounds me. So when I was going to different industries and fields and learning it on the ground floor, I found myself having to push the reset and learning from people smarter than me, and then
Hmm.
being open to learn from them and then apply it in my own way, but more effectively for the work to get done.
So do you feel like it's kind of I'm forced into it, being wedged into a particular area where I have to take on these other jobs, other hats, because I want to go this direction. So I have to learn this, or I have to be successful, or more patient in listening to other people and what they're saying, so that you can perform the jobs that you want to do. When it comes to that, wearing different hats.
Yeah, I think all the above.
Hmm.
Being patient is definitely something that is a good attribute to have when wearing different hats and working with people to solve the same problem. Work with people smarter than you oftentimes, which I found myself always not the smartest person in the room, but I'm pretty resourceful and I'm pretty open when it comes to being humble to learn from other people.
Hmm.
So that was something I always was aware of. And being, again, the patient is the word. Because that learning curve, depending on the field you're trying to enter and the things you're trying to get done, you have to have that patience to lower that curve of learning. Uh,
Hmm.
and then working with somebody in partnership to get that objective or task done.
With that said, give me three things. You have the high school student, which I understand you have been dealing with them, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. What would you say to them who are watching you now, to be encouraging to go the directions of inventing or going to startups or being more productive in their life? And then give me that college student that's 4-year degree person. What would you tell that person? And then would you tell the person who has degrees or don't have any degrees, who's still trying to be an entrepreneur in the situation that you and I are both in? Let's start with the high school student. What would be the one or two things that you can tell them that would be inspiring enough to say, "Oh, I'm glad I watched this show."
Well, yeah, I would say this. Don't always try to chase the trends.
Mm,
I think go back to the basics. I think the whole thing with now with AI is very, very, very super dangerous. Uh, my contrarian view on that is that AI cannot beat HI.
mhm,
So HI is human intelligence, right? And I think that that grounds you into reality. And if you think about AI or even the digital world, because
mhm.
again, my past is working with e-learning, so I had to convert everything that's tangible into this digital realm. The
Right.
same thing's happening now with AI. You're using AI as a tool, obviously, and I think that's been said millions of times. But
Yes.
the key is it's it's not really using it as a tool as a binary thing, like input and outputs. It's the incoming and then what's outcoming.
Mhm.
So what that means is you have to ask the right questions to get the right answers, right?
That's
You just
correct.
can't have assume. So there's two parts of that. You have to have the consistent foundation, and
Mhm.
on that foundation, you have a layer of facts you have to ask to get the right outcome, right?
Yeah.
So I would say to the high school kids, don't chase the current trends, but listen to your teachers and go back to the basics, right? Not every school needs a digital literacy plan. They
Mhm.
should have just a reading and writing literacy plan.
Yes.
And that, again, cannot go away. Think about how many times you have power outages. What happens when the internet's out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do people even know how to communicate anymore? Just normal conversation.
Right.
It's very sad. I mean, I've seen
It's
these
going away.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are scrolling. It's called doom scrolling for a reason. They're actually predicting your future right there,
Yeah. Yep.
right? And
Yep.
now there's a reverse play which people are trying to come back to the analog world, which I think is important. And that's a
Mhm.
to me that's a through line for anyone. Every target segment that you're talking about, high school, college, the people who want to be entrepreneurs. I mean,
Yeah.
chasing the trends, you're risking a lot. Hence, for obviously entrepreneurs, but you have to balance that, counterbalance it with analog world, what's really
Mhm.
happening, connecting with people, right? There's a whole thing about community, right? Who's your tribe? Who's your community? And that comes back to the analog world.
It
You,
does.
yeah, you can grow exponentially online, but who's your real friends? Like we
Right.
have the Facebook friends. We have the now LinkedIn is a glorified Facebook,
Mhm.
LinkedIn friends. But
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know, you and I think this is better. I see your face and I
Yep.
bet you in person. I think
Yep.
it coalesces and then it becomes more of a genuinely human experience. Right.
Mhm.
So Um, and I think that the second thing you're talking about was college segment. The college segment, I would say the same thing.
Okay.
The through line is the human experience, the human connection, and human intelligence
Okay.
to oversee the digital realm. And then for one of the entrepreneurs or who are in the entrepreneurial stage and trying to build up, it's the same thing too. When you
Hmm.
have these Eventbrites, you have all these in-person events like Michigan
Hmm.
Tech Week for a reason. They're
Yeah.
driving you back to the analog world. And
Right.
it's coupling. But I think the if you think about a pyramid, the bulk of the foundation is the analog world. And then it goes up into digital. But it's not the other way around, which people are confusing it because people are
So
caught up with
I,
this whole AI thing.
people
Go
are
ahead.
confusing. Let's just a little bit, not a lot. Talk about the difference. I'm not sure if our listeners would know the difference between an analog and digital. The analog
Oh,
sine wave on an oscilloscope, which maybe that may be saying too much about an oscilloscope because very few people might even use oscilloscopes anymore,
right.
versus a digital wave of how that works of ones and zeros and things of that nature. I know you said it as far as people interactions, but can we melt those two together and so they understand when you mention the words analog or mention the words digital, they would have a better understanding. I got my thoughts and then we'll converse on it, but I'd just like to hear yours.
Yeah, that's a great comment to question to clarify. To me, analog world is where we're here in reality. And it is going back to what I was saying, the foundation. So the foundation is when you talk about analog world, it's grabbing a pencil, it's things that are tangible in front of you, it's talking in person with somebody, and
Hmm.
there's no digital screen in front of you or in that made up world. Pretty much what digital is trying to do is take everything analog and put it to this different uh, out of reach world online, but it's not the same, right? Do you think
Hmm.
AI will ever have a human heart? No, it's like the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz. That's not going to happen, right? So that's what I mean by analog world. It's the in-person world.
Excellent point. How just to, if a person who never met or knew anything about the Wizard of Oz, they would, because they're inventing robotic arms and trying to make it more realistic. Because I know a lot of times I talk to younger people, and you had mentioned earlier about, I know I'm skipping around, about the yellow pages and the white pages. And they may say, well, what's the yellow pages and the white pages? One was yellow pages for business, white pages for just people, residents, and of that nature. But they never seen that. They've just always been introduced. Like I know a lot of these parents are giving their babies iPads, and they're just they're 8, 9 months or whatever, scrolling through and playing games and everything. So they'd never seen maybe what a person does or far as instructions or teachers of the things. And I'm trying to cover a whole lot of space here when I say a lot of things that you and I are talking about and know about. If they never been introduced to it, then all they've seen is just this or watch people scrolling on their phone or things of that nature, then they will never know that this is not real. It'd be hard to say what is real versus what you've been seeing. And you try to tell them that, I may say, well, you're just old for you. That's something you used to do. We don't do that anymore. So in that same transition, do we prepare for the future for what their standards are? Or do we remind them of the past, how things used to be, to see if they will come back to that, as you said earlier, coming back to the analog? You
I
know what I'm
think
saying? I mean,
I do understand what you're saying. I think
yeah.
it goes back to what I was saying before about foundational uh, agreement or foundational setting. So if
Mm.
you have the same background or
Mhm.
you and I are probably around the same age, I think that the foundation we come from, we know about the yellow pages. So
Right.
when I say yellow pages, you said what? The white pages
I know I said
automatically.
yellow and white. The yellow was for businesses, all the
Right, right,
business in the area, and the white was just residential people. You could find
right,
yourself,
right.
your own name. Yeah.
Correct. So what I was saying is I said yellow pages and you reminded me about the white pages. So you and
Mhm.
I are up the same
Right.
foundation. We're
Right.
starting the same way. So if I've been called like, sir and uncle just because old school too, because they have no reference point. I mean, there is a clip, I forget what station, what channel on YouTube, but they were
Mhm.
showing kids the rotary phone when you were dialing back in the day.
Yeah.
They didn't know what that was.
Right.
They had 10 seconds to figure out to call 911. They could not call 911, right? And how many kids these days remember their parents' numbers? Or is it like speed dial too?
Right.
So to answer your question, when it comes to a reference point, we have to be on the same page.
Hmm.
So I think for kids, there needs to be a bridge between the two, their generation and old school. And there's ways to do that. It's just a matter of introducing it themselves, introducing the subject matter or whatever to them, to the kids, and have the kids be, and it goes both ways. The kids needs to
Hmm.
be open enough to learn and see where we're coming from. And if we're on that bridge together, in the middle, we can understand each other's side, and we're not going to be here forever. So it's them carrying it over from the middle of the bridge onto the other side. So they need to take that past history and wisdom from us, not to sound arrogant, but it's a bridge of understanding. So it has to go both ways.
Right.
Um, that's all I would say. I mean, they have to be open on their side too. And if they just wash you off as saying, "Oh, you're just an OG, you don't really know anything. This is the way it is with AI," and I've had people say that to me, and I say, "No, you and I are talking in person. You think that could be um, displaced or erased? No." So it's a matter of them being open as well as us trying to figure out how to cross that bridge with them.
I like what you said. You said something earlier about challenging the system. I always tell students that you should ask questions that you're unsure of, uh, to get, like you talking about putting in AI information. You can put in a lot of different information. You need to ask the right question. So then the question will be, how do I know what the right question is to achieve the goal? And you said, being patient, be understanding. I guess that's something we probably need to teach people to be listening and open. I tell people also, you can learn something from a child, from a drug addict, or somebody a drunk, anybody, astrophysicists, something always, there's always something to be learned from everybody. So I try to make sure that I listen to everybody and everything everyone has to say and be patient and then follow up on what they're saying. It just seems like the world doesn't do a lot of research and just go with the first answer and just run with it. What they Googled, that's got to be the truth. Where I try to check other sources because it may be something else that may be more in tune to what you're trying to find out. Uh, do you? Well, I know obviously you talked about AI. I have a couple of favorite AIs that I use. I love Chat and Claude and Gemini now, even more so than what there used to be. Some perplexity, to some degree, but is there a list of AIs? Are those the same, or you like to use or put your hands on, or is something different, or some of the same?
It's the same. I also would add in Grok because Grok's amazing.
You like that, Grok? I tried
Yeah,
the first times when I first started. I said, this doesn't seem to get me where I need to go, but
yeah,
maybe I have to go back and revisit it.
yeah. I'm trying it again because I think they're always pushing new updated the software. So it's amazing how fast it can go.
Hmm.
Um, I think to something you said earlier, people are doing this trying to get AI to do shortcuts, and it's for instant gratification and instant productivity. But
Yeah,
I think there's no learning gap in which they know what they're writing or know what they're doing. So, and asking the right question is is very pertinent to the situation, and uh, that's why you have the prompt engineers right now that you have to ask the right question to get the right results for yourself, and then have to compile all that together.
hmm,
Um, but I think the instant gratification is what getting people, and the younger kids, and people who are not savvy enough to understand that um, that instant gratification is going to be their downfall. It's definitely going to be their downfall.
yeah.
And the kids these days don't understand that, and even new entrepreneurs that they don't understand it either, because eventually what's going to happen is you can have all these data points, results, and quote unquote productivity, but then if you get in front of the investors and you can't answer their questions, guess what? You're not gonna get the money. They're gonna see
True.
right through you and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, did you create the slide deck or did you do like ChatGPT, like
Right.
5 second creation? Do you really know your data points?" So if I take that away, similar to your phone, and you call 911, you even know how to press it. You
Mm.
know, it's the same difference, right? I think it's the funniest thing. There's so many people. I'm on an advisory board for some San Francisco companies, and they ask me the
Okay.
same thing. I'm like, I look at their slide and say, "What? You?" Okay, so I'll just take a random page and ask them a question, and they can't answer it. They
No.
can't answer to the level of understanding. They can answer it superficially, but they don't really understand the concept what they're trying to say.
Hmm. Yeah, I usually tell people if you're going to use AI, read through what it said. Just don't
Yes.
And then, you may need to make most of the time you need to make corrections, make some changes. That makes me know that you read through it thoroughly and it's actually helping you as a tool and not as a quick release, a band-aid to just throw out there real quick to somebody. And I harp on that all the time, telling people to stay away from that. But what are some of the like what do you do when a person comes to you and say, hey, Q, I'm trying to build a time machine and what is your first reaction when they say that to you? What direction do you go? Do you nurture them, or do you take a grain of salt, or you ignore them, or do you? How do you handle somebody who approaches you and say, "I want to build a time machine. I want you to help me in the startup."
Yeah, I think that I wouldn't laugh at them. I think it's possible
Hmm.
because we're all energy.
If you got the money.
And yeah, exactly. You have the money and we're all energy. We're energetic human beings.
Hmm.
So vibrational. So I think it's possible. I
Okay.
wouldn't put it past them.
So
So I
what
would ask
steps
them
or
to,
procedures would you go into when it comes to helping them?
well, I would say, what do they mean by time travel?
Hmm.
Is it a mental state? Is it a physical state? Is it a
Hmm.
spiritual state? Which
Okay.
one is it?
Okay.
And then
So there's nothing impossible.
it's not impossible. I
Hmm.
mean, I worked in a nursing home and the people there, they're time traveling in a sense.
Yeah, that's true.
They're in a different realm.
Yep.
We're not able to connect with them because we're not in the same state of mind. But they're
Hmm.
time traveling. They'll talk about
Okay.
the same thing in a segment of time back in their youth. They're traveling back in time, literally.
Yeah.
And it's a cycle in there. And I just can't relate because my time travel is in the present.
Mhm,
But they've traveled back then. They're stuck there.
mhm.
And
Okay.
there's medicine for them to get cured and come back to the current state to align with me. So time travel is it's literally a it depends how you see it.
Yeah. Okay.
So if they were to come and ask me that question, I would ask them more questions as far as what did it mean by that?
Mhm. When you start your inventions or your products, or what's the worst thing, if you can talk about it, that has happened to you that you would tell everybody to stay away from? To avoid this, be careful, be wise, and watch out for this attack, this shark attack, or whatever you like to comment on.
Yeah, that's funny you asked that because I have a product in front of me. Um, I don't know where I put it, but
Can you
it's
show it?
yeah. Let me see if I
Okay.
can grab it for you. You can see the second inside. I had it here. I think
Hmm.
I was showing somebody. And I don't think they gave it back to me. Well, it's pretty much a USB figurine that sits on your desk. This is back when I had my own company in San Francisco, and just imagine this guy here.
Okay.
So it's a USB figurine that sits on your table, and you can charge it. Uh, you can plug it in a USB charger.
So it's a power pack.
It's a power pack, right?
Okay.
Right. And the power pack, it's supposed to have the plug on the side so you can
Hmm.
enjoy the figurine the way it looks on your desk. Um, but when I was sending it in Asia, I had them uh, do it on the side, but the engineers thought that the molding itself would be harder to have a hole on the side versus on the
Hmm.
bottom.
Okay.
So assembly was easier to have it on the bottom where he's sitting. So what
Okay.
they did instead is they made 1,000 of these and stuck the USB charger underneath where he's sitting.
Hmm.
So then what happens is the product needs to be laid down to have the charger going into the
Mm.
bottom of the foot, which is a big mistake. It was a
Yeah.
$10,000 mistake and they ended up paying for it. But the point being is that for product development, you have to be very specific and have them um, cater to you and have the criteria or brief specific enough to know that you cannot change the way the design is. The design is on purpose.
Hmm.
Even though it might be more efficient for assembly or
Right.
even the architecture or however they want to do the circuitry, s- be very specific and do not sway from the design of it because there's a reason why the design is sitting up, not laying down. So they made that mistake. And um, my misstep was the fact that I didn't check in with them prior to them sending out the samples to me. I should have
Hmm.
checked. I just assumed that they would understand and not make any change
Don't they
without
send you a
consulting me.
prototype of what they're going to manufacture
They
before they
did. They
manufacture it?
did. But 2 weeks out, I should have checked with them too. I did not.
Hmm.
I just assumed that it's going to be okay, which is
Okay.
not the case.
It's been my experience. I send my prototype out there and it comes back 5, 10 times better than what I imagined it would. And
Wow.
my only question or concern is right now is when I did the prints and all the circuit diagrams for my patent, and then you changed it with better circuitry and better chips and everything, does my patent still hold up for, for what they actually did that I'm selling,
Right.
And I was been too afraid to ask that question. Just roll with it. Just
Yeah, I
keep it
think
down. So
that's the legal question. I don't know, but it seems like it would change it. And then you have to go back to
yeah,
the legal advisors to get that adjusted.
yeah, because they made it way better.
Hmm.
They make it iPhone ready.
Hmm.
you know,
Exactly.
do you get your packaging done also? Like for that, that's a sumo wrestler, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you tell them to do the packaging also for, or do you go someone different, someplace different for packaging?
Back in the day, we worked with a couple of companies. So we have a liaison in Hong Kong, and this
Hmm.
again, it's in the early 2000s, and we had them do the graphics and the outer packaging, the serial number, and everything else on their side because
Okay.
they're just a hop away from Shenzhen and Guangzhou. So we had them on the ground floor over there doing that.
Okay. So, what's the funniest thing you've seen out there? Maybe things that came to you, or funniest thing that you've done in your life, or things that's hilarious. Just you just have to chalk it up. Well, it's funny.
Well, we had since when they know you, they'll tend to send you, especially they know you have a retail
Hmm.
front in San Francisco. They'll send you samples in which you can white label items. So they'll have these new quacky, wacky, whimsical things, and they want you to put it into their store. But they'll say, "Hey, you can white label, so you put your name on it."
Okay.
So they like ours is a DE iPhone repair, mobile technology. So you can have your own design in it. So we had this one, it actually became a hit. It was called the Suction Piggy,
Mm.
and it's a stand for your phone. It's a suction
Okay.
cup,
Hmm.
and the face of the pig was cut out as a circular suction.
Yeah.
And we used to call it. We love white labels. We would call it oinkies, and we gave it away for free because they were like a set. But they gave us like thousands of them. So that was a really crazy one, and they made
Hmm.
different versions of the suction. So they had a raccoon suction. They'll cut out the face. It's sort of scary for kids, but it
Okay.
actually worked. So you can pop up your phone
Okay.
as a phone stand holder. So I thought it was sort of funny that they sent
So,
that
for
to
our
us.
listeners, explain white label.
Oh, white label is when you have a generic product.
Hmm.
It's all made the same in mass production, and then you can just customize and put your own logo or own brand on it.
Okay. So, when you put your own logo, what is your understanding about licensing a license agreement or license deal? What is your process? Or have you done that before?
I have, and I have my attorneys work on it. So the process is there's when you're doing licensing, uh, you're going to different potential companies that already have a out-facing uh, public persona or brand,
Hmm.
and then you have them look at your product, and then you work out an agreement percentage-wise how much they'll pay you. Um, and then they also again they'll work with their engineers to see how they will make your idea to become reality fit in their brand portfolio.
Hmm.
And that's a long process. When I was doing this back in San Francisco, it took 5 to 7 years to even get
Wow.
the stuff even done. And again, it's a slower grind back then. It probably is faster now. I haven't done it recently. I am working on products and again in tandem with the guy in San Francisco, but it's probably a shorter life cycle now with that.
So do you prefer them to just buy you out, or do you prefer for them to do the license agreement, pay you once a month, a percentage?
It depends on the amount of money you need at that time, because I don't like to just do one product, I like to do multiple products.
Uh-huh.
So you sort of have to balance out between the 2. I mean, if you need to influx of money to depending on what the reason is, to go into your next product, yeah,
Mhm.
have them buy me out. But if you are in a situation where you're okay to have the consistent checks coming in and you're all right financially and you don't need that money for anything else, you can just sit back and get the royalty checks.
Okay. In our EIG organization, there are a lot of guys, and I'm sure a lot of people who's listening at this program has lots of projects. So how do you know when to develop so much time to one project to go to the next project? Oh, I got a new thought. Should I start building this one, or should I stay concentrate on this one? Or you just become multiple doing a lot of projects, or do you say, I'm just write this down and just wait and just make sure I complete this one project? What is your process?
Sometimes I can get all over the place, but what I do is I have
That does
my
happen.
yeah, so I have my notebook here, and I pretty much let me just have this. It's like a
Hmm.
detective notebook when you get pulled over
Okay.
after you
Okay.
write your
You
ticket.
flash it, get
It's,
the badge come
exactly,
up.
exactly. Yeah, these things got bad memories. But anyways, with this, I have this next to me all the time and with
Hmm.
me. So then I just jot down ideas and note in my notes on there. Um, and I try to group them by category.
Okay.
So if I'm at like Burger King and I find a way to actually I have this a way to have the ketchup cups be more of a uh, prettier product, I'll
Hmm.
draw that down, write it down. So that's like hospitality, restaurant ish. And then if I'm at the dollar store and I'm come across a product that like pens or stationery that I think that could be improved, I'll have that as a different category.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
I'll delineate it according to the category.
Hmm.
Because I know my mind can be scattered. So that's the way I do it. I categorize it by product.
Categorize it.
Mhm.
Well, let me ask this question. A lot of people who build things and they may feel that they're not successful. So, my question I'm leading into is, how do you measure success? Do you measure it by the money that's made off of it, or do you measure it by the people that are using your product, or has been on television, or how do you measure success and the best way to do it? I'm sure you've measured success several different ways, but what makes you say, okay, I did this project that rest or the USB charger you just showed me. Uh, at what point you say, okay, that was successful, or you say, oh, I did okay with that? What's your measurement of success?
My measurement benchmark would be how I felt about the end result. Did I
Hmm.
give it all? Did I give it my all? Did I uh, go to all my resources and try to get that product done? And did I try to work it out so then I can get a licensing deal or have it venture through different investors so
Okay.
then I can have it on the market? So I think the benchmark for me for success is how I felt about it. Because not every product is going to be quote unquote successful in the eyes of the public. But as long as
Hmm.
I felt good that
Right.
I put all my effort in it, I mean, that's fine because you can't make billions of people happy or even millions of people happy. It's
Okay.
just how you think that the product is from you, from your birth of it. Because guys can be the only way we can give birth is through products, right? We're not seahorses, so we can't give
Hmm.
birth to
Right.
like humans. So that's the way I measure it. I try not to get down too much because I've done so much of this that
Hmm.
when people say, "Oh, why didn't you continue that product?" Blah blah, blah and get a bit because they have their opinion. But I go back to what I say. I think that timeline, it was like a stop sign. It wasn't like a continue go sign. So I'm okay with it. So
Okay.
again, my benchmark comes back to did I put all my effort into it?
Okay. Okay. So, what are your thoughts on patents? Because a lot of people always ask the question: should I pursue a patent or just do a pre-patent, patent pending type of thing? Or should I, those kind of only two choices. Either or no patent at all. What are your thoughts on patents? Are there good patents, or are they successful, or should a person utilize and throw $10,000, $20,000 down the hole for a patent?
I would if you don't have a lot of money, I would definitely go the PPA route, the provisional
Hmm.
patent, and that way you're leveraging the resources out there with companies that have already done it, so they
Hmm.
can verify your product. So they say, and again, they're on the ground floor. They see the market. They know the market potential. They can help you just by the calls that you interact with them to learn about your product. Right. You can also use an AI to even look at the marketing landscape,
Right.
and with your product, you can upload a picture of your product, and they can generate an image in which is most fitting for the potential market that you're targeting.
Hmm.
So there's not a specific route. I think for me, the way I do it, if it's tech heavy and software heavy, I would seek out a lawyer to help you with the patent.
Hmm.
But if it's like low fidelity, things that can be easily calculable, I think that you don't need to have it patent necessarily. You can have a provisional,
Hmm.
and then you can try it at farmers market, and you can have the provisionals on your brand or on your documentation saying that it's patent pending.
Okay.
You can use some more leeway time-wise.
It looks like you have a lot of products. Has anyone ever approached you with your product and say, "Hey, we've already started this product, or we already have a patent on this, and cease making your product"? Anybody ever approach you, or have you ever seen someone get approached by them saying that you've copied my patent or you've copied my product? And what type of trouble did they get into, or did they get in trouble at all?
Cease and desist? Yeah, I got
Yeah.
that. We got that in San Francisco because
Okay.
we did. We got it from Apple.
Well, this sounds like a good story. Let me hear this one.
Yeah, man, this is crazy. Um, where do I start with this? So
Were you surprised when you got it,
I
or did
was
you know
I
it was
was
coming?
surprised. No, I didn't. We didn't know it was coming. We actually
Okay.
thought it was a joke because we
Oh,
actually
okay.
have a couple of friends that are attorney in San Francisco, and they sent us
Okay.
these like legal things just as a joke. It's almost like April Fools for them every day. They
Hmm.
just like to just mess with us. But this one was Apple and Cupertino sent us a cease and desist because um, we had their logo on a couple of products that we were white labeling. So we had
Okay.
4 stores, and somebody, I guess, came in to get their phone fixed, and then they saw the USB one I was showing you. We had a different version, but they had an Apple logo on the bottom left hand side. And I don't think it was on purpose. I think it was something that the factory did as a mistake.
Hmm.
And then I guess that guy took a picture, went back to the Apple people, and then we were getting bombarded with letters saying that this is not our product. This is a this is a cheap version from overseas. Blah 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 blah. And we had to seek out an attorney to fight that off, saying this is
Hmm.
not something. It was more like a caricature of Apple. It
Okay.
wasn't specifically officially Apple. But they said that that's something that's too confusing for the public, and you're associating with Disney characters, and all. I'm like, these billion-dollar companies are coming after us. This is a joke, and we just kept
Or a
getting these
proud
letters.
moment. They they recognized you.
Yeah, because we had a store in Silicon Valley, that's in San Jose. So then they went
Mm.
to our store, and I guess that I can't be at multiple places at once. So when the manager called me, they're like, you got another letter. You got to come out here." And you have people outside. Like, what? What? Are you serious? Yeah.
Showing their
It was,
badges, their
well, I don't know
professional
about
wallets.
that because I never made it down there in time because I was trying to do the San Francisco office. But
Okay.
I remember him calling me and like, oh my God. So take a picture of the letter and then send it to me. And I sent it to our attorney. And then he sort of cleared things up saying this is a caricature. It doesn't represent Apple's logo specifically. It's just
Mhm.
a rendition, an artist imagination of your brand. So that was uh, a deflection moment for them. So that's
So
what
you
they
were
used.
clean. They cleared it up
Yeah,
and
they
they
cleared it up.
stopped. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. Were you guys nervous, a little scared that they may ask for you to pay however much money they thought they may have lost?
Yeah, I was nervous, and my business partner wasn't. My business partner, he's a really good poker player, so
Okay.
he's always like this. cool cucumber. I
calm
could
and
say
cool.
fire in a building, and he'll
Yeah,
walk out. I'll
yeah,
be running out. He's that kinda guy.
yeah. Okay. Um, I've had some proud moment. Other people may not consider this a proud moment, but let me tell you a really quick story, and then I'd like to see you give me a matching story, so very similar. Two things have happened. A person came to me and said the product that they purchased from me, my guitar strap, got stolen out their car. And inside, I was excited. Oh, somebody thought my product was worth enough, to steal it. So I
Mhm.
stole it from somebody. And the other proud moment, which I don't tell a lot of people, a girl had got my light up guitar strap tattooed on her arm, and she sent
Whoa.
me a picture. I said, "Oh wow, I, wow." Never seen. So have you ever seen anybody do something with your products that you invented? Maybe put it in the New York Times or something, or maybe they did something to just say, "Oh, I like you took my product and done this with it." And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I never had somebody tattoo anything of what I've done on my
I was honored.
body.
I was, okay,
That is awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome. That's like a permanent reminder of Derek
yeah,
Watson. That's
right.
awesome. Um, proud moment. I think when people come into our stores and they were talking about our products, uh, especially USB Bank, I wish they did it correctly, but they said the design idea was superb for
Hmm.
that time, and they wish that it was situated, the plug is different. But I think that was one of our proudest moments because we used to need so many people. We had especially being Silicon Valley, we had what's that guy's name from Yelp, the founder of Yelp,
Hmm.
Joseph, and we had a couple other people. We had what's that football player from the Raiders, Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch came to our store.
Okay. And
They
you play
didn't
it
recognize
cool.
his dad.
You
Yeah,
stay.
yep. No, no, no. I'm a football guy, and my business partner isn't. So when he called up and he said Marshawn Lynch is here, I said, "What? Are you serious?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's people behind him. Like, oh my god, he's the funniest guy, by the way.
Is
He's a
he
very
okay?
funny guy. Yeah, he's hilarious. So I think proudest moment is just meeting people, complimenting us on how we design the stores and the layout and the product itself that we're pushing to. We used to do like these test products to sit on a counter
Hmm.
and they have people just test it out, and
Yeah.
then based on their interaction, we'll order more.
Okay.
So
That's
I
smart.
think that's my proudest moment, just to interact with the people, but nothing specifically. Again, like the tattoo thing, that we won me over on that one. I think we got the beat on that.
We're getting close to closing. Just two more
Yeah.
good questions. I know in my neighborhood, my subdivision, I got these safety vests that light up. So a lot of times I would go to work early in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, or either come home late at night, and I see people wearing my safety vests in my subdivision I've sold them to, or I'm out someplace and they recognize me. Oh, aren't you the guy who sell the guitar straps or whatever? Do you see your product outside of your circle and say, "Oh, that's my product. It's getting out there." Or somebody comes say, "Aren't you the guy who made the whatever one of those products that you've invented?" Have you ever had that experience? And is it a proud moment for you?
No, I want to get there.
Okay.
I want to get there, but no, I haven't had a product that's public that people recognize yet. I am working on a product now. I think I might have shared it with you. Is the Drive Be Safe product, which is stops you. It's a digital seatbelt for your phone, so you're
Mm.
not distracted while you're driving. That's something I'm working on now.
I tell you what I seen today because I know I was in Cincinnati and I watched on the news that they're going to crack down on people texting while they're driving. They're
Yes.
cracking down on that. And those cameras that you see at different intersections that you go to, they're going to be taking pictures of your license tag and everything and send you a ticket and things of that nature. So today I was coming from T-Mobile and I saw this officer on his motorcycle slowly pull up to everybody's car and looking at their car to see if they're texting and driving. I like this. And I saw
Yeah.
on the news this morning that they said they're going to stop all that. They're going to be watching for people doing that. And I said, well, a lot of people have windows that are really dark. How are you going to see through their unless you're looking head on, how do you even know if they're texting and driving of that nature? Um, so I guess I was thinking about a product I talked to JP about whether it it tells the police or law enforcement that somebody's texting. If we can come up with some type of signal finder that says there's a pulse coming out from that particular vehicle. And then I said we can also try and build something for the consumer to block that, so we can work on both sides of the fence. Have you ever worked on both sides of the fence of trying to get one group to get one thing, and the people who oppose that one thing build something for them so they can kind of, like a speed detector, and they build one to check the speed of the car, and then you build one for the customers to detect if they have the radar to test to see if you're coming through too fast. You ever done both sides of the line like that?
No, I mean, that's pretty clever that you guys think about that. I think that to create a market which you have the opposing side, I think that's gonna keep the market alive.
Yeah.
No, I haven't thought about that.
Okay. My closing question, uh, and I appreciate you being a guest. I mean, phenomenal, phenomenal. The things that you bring to the table is gonna it's gonna do a lot of people a lot of good, especially me. When I go back over and listen to everything you said. Um, if you could and have the opportunity to work with some astounding inventors or people that have done some things in life, Tesla or Edison or anybody in today who's living today that you could work with or be alongside a project, who would that be, dead or alive? It doesn't matter if they could be living or passed away. If you could work, who would you like? Who would be the person you would love to work with?
Well, there's two people that's alive and one person that's no longer with us. Is the one that's no longer with us is Tesla for sure.
Yeah, that
Um,
would be interesting.
yeah, and then the guy that's alive is Elon Musk, and
Okay.
this British product designer. His name is Ross Lovegrove. He is a phenomenal
Say his name again
designer.
because it sounded like it broke up a little bit.
Ross Lovegrove.
Okay.
Ross Lovegrove is a product designer from the UK,
Okay.
and he he takes from nature and he creates these whimsical, beautiful products.
Hmm.
He had this one where he redesigned or reimagined uh, light street light street light lampposts, and
Hmm.
it's in the shape of a mushroom,
Okay.
the shape of a tree, and it's so beautiful. And his designs are very astounding and it's very memorable. So that's
Did he
somebody
build
I
that
want to work with.
truck?
No,
Okay.
he built a truck. We talking about Cybertruck, Elon
Yeah,
Musk's ugly.
the
That's an ugly.
Cybertruck.
Yeah, I think he's a brilliant guy, but that design I think was just made people love or hate him, and just put in branding
Intentionally.
wise. Yeah, it was
Hmm.
intentional because that was a joke. Come on, my two
I
year
want to
old
say
niece could
that,
do that.
because it seems like they did that intentionally so people, like you said, love or hate,
Yeah,
so that, you'll see this thing coming down and it's not the standard attraction that we have on our sports cars or trucks we have today. It's so much
correct.
different. So the people buy it just for that reason, just to be opposite of you or whoever has whatever they have. So it's interesting to hear you say that.
It's true. It's true. You hit
Yeah.
it on the nail. He did it on purpose.
Hmm. So what's your future plan? What you got going on? Tell us about your goals. Where you going in life?
Where I'm going in life, it's where God is helping me go.
Hmm.
I don't know specifically. I know I'm still working with the AI company in San Francisco, and I have some things going on here in Detroit. Um, Immediately though, I'm working on the Drive Be Safe
Hmm.
that you're talking about,
Yeah.
and I was trying to work with JC on it, but I have the investors having me take a pause now to reconfigure how I'm going to approach it,
Hmm.
either through the licensing route or through the self venture route.
Do you
So
try to work with Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMVs around
yeah,
the country or different states?
yeah, I've approached them and they told me that I had to talk to the people in Lansing
Hmm.
to get anything going. On
Okay.
a local level, regional level, they don't handle that. So I had
Okay.
to
Right.
go all the way up to the top, which is again, it's going to be very convoluted because all the red tape and bureaucracy that comes along with that.
Hmm. Okay. Well, Q, thank you so much. You made my day, that's for sure. I don't know if you have any questions for me. Probably not. You'll see me at the next meeting or so if you ever have the opportunity to be free. But I want to thank you again. What about? Oh, you just let me know. I know you offer or asked me to show up one of the, I think, of 50 million cups and do
Yeah,
something there. I'm just trying to see if I can find the time to do that. But if you need my assistance in anything else, don't hesitate to ask.
right. I admire what you do, and I think I probably met you a couple of times prior to this in
Yeah.
different capacities, different events,
Mhm.
even prior to the elite group that I'm involved with now.
Yeah.
And I think that you're a phenomenal guy, man. I
Well,
think that you have
thank
a
you.
lot of talent. I think I looked through your product before. I'm like, oh my god, this is impressive. It's useful. The light vest, I think that's
Mhm.
very practical, very useful. And the guitar light too. I think that it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so
if you see any way you can help me out to
well,
get my
I
doggy
did.
vest.
Well, the music one, I think that Motown. I mean, did you talk to the Motown guys?
Um, I believe what they told me, my guitar strap is in the Motown Museum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they told me. They say a group of bass players were donating this bass to Motown, and they're going to put my guitar strap with it that lights up, and they're going to put that in the museum. It's supposed to be in the museum right now. I didn't go follow up to see if it was actually there, probably because I might have been upset or afraid if it wasn't there. I get my hopes up too high. But they also building a new Motown museum downtown. Well, not downtown Detroit, but in Detroit, they're building a new museum for Motown. So I'm hoping I will probably go down there just to see if it's in there, in the new museum. So maybe it may not be in the old museum because the old museum has, if you ever been in there, has lots of stuff. Like got lots of all Motown stuff in there. And so at what capacity can you squeeze any more stuff in there? But in the new building, it's probably about 5 times, 10 times larger than the house they were using as a museum. And they probably have room to put something like my guitar strap and the bass that the bass players of Detroit had donated. So we'll see. Keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully things will work out. Like I'd love to see that. But I work with a couple of Motown people. They wear it. The thing about what I do is give my product to people that are famous. I've met a lot of famous people. I like that. That's kind of cool. And then watch my product on stage, or either see somebody will call me, "Hey, I seen this person on stage wearing your product." I say, "Oh yeah," and they shoot some video and send it to me. But the person who's wearing the product won't tell people, "Hey, this is DC's LED's product. He sent me one. Go out there and get one." Yeah, they won't do that. They pretend like this is specially made just for me. And I
Oh,
I even seen one of my Lady Gaga was on Saturday Night Live with the light up microphone stand. I said, "That's my product." Just I said, "Well, I can't claim that because I didn't patent it, but
oh, you didn't patent it.
I did not patent it."
Oh
So
man.
no, didn't. So I said, well, it's exciting to see that there is some people want it. Some people still place orders. I just got to find time to build them. It takes a minute to build. So I got to find an easy way to manufacture it or get it mass manufactured. I just I'm learning now to make sure that there's an interest, there's a market for it before I start pouring lots of money into something.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm at on that. So,
Okay.
but
All right.
I appreciate the help. If any hint to anything else that you see that will be beneficial, please let me know. But thank you so much, and
Thank
let
you.
me know
All
if you
right.
need any help on anything.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
Derek.
Thanks,
You take
Q.
care. All right. Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye bye.
We just talked to Q. I'm excited. So we got more people coming up on the circuit. So be sure to stay tuned. I'm DC Washington for the circuit.